Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a week because the week before my church was fasting, so social media, I wasn't posting myself, so that's why I took a week off. But I am back, and how's everyone doing? How has your 2 weeks been? How's your mental health? How's everything going on? How's life? How's the world? Since the last time I've been on here, there's been some changes. We have a new POTUS in office, so we definitely do. So I know right now there's a lot of people that are feeling kind of unsure. They're not really understanding what's going on, and there's a lot of scared people. So I get it, I understand, but this is the time where you should really depend on your God, your friends, your family in these type of times. So I'm kind of gonna do something a little bit different with this video because I do like current events. I'm not gonna say I'm into politics, but I like being informed. And there's a lot of people, they're not really sure exactly what some of these executive orders mean, or who do they affect, or if they affect them or their family members. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of time to focus on, I think, the main one everyone has been worried about, which is the immigration executive orders. So I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly run through and just give a brief explanation as to what the immigration orders are and how they affect us, and basically how we can go ahead and prepare people that we may know that this may affect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my time and read them and give my best explanation. So one of Trump's first executive orders is that he promised mass deportations, but hasn't detailed how he would actually go ahead and implement such a costly thing. Because what people don't know is that every person that is deported, it basically costs about $20,000 per person. So basically, this is going to take public funding. This is going to take your taxes. So just understand, with Trump doing this, it's also going to go ahead and cost, money. Things like this are not cheap. They're not free. So, also take that into consideration. The next one is Trump declares national emergency at the Mexico border. So with Trump going ahead and doing that, vowing to deploy troops to the region, including the National Guard, he also instructed the Secretary of Defense and Homeland Security to construct additional border barriers. So basically, that's another one of the things that, that Trump is actually going ahead and implementing. And basically, when it comes to certain international cartels and organizations such as Tren de Aragua and MS-13 as foreign terrorist organizations, and announced plans to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target them. So basically, Trump has declared the cartels basically terrorists. So that's another thing that he has went ahead and done and implemented. Trump also suspended U.S. refugee admissions program resettlements until such a time as the further entry into the United States of refugees aligns with the interests of the United States. Homeland Security will report back within 90 days whether resuming the refugee entries would be in the interest of America. Nearly 1,660 Afghans cleared by the U.S. to resettle in the country, including family of active duty U.S. military personnel, had their flights canceled due to Trump's orders. So, a lot of people, they go out to war, they go fight wars and stuff like that, and some of them, they go to them countries and they meet the one. So basically, those are the people, when they say as far as military families, people in our military that probably found someone in that country, fell in love, probably started a family and everything like that. Those are the people whose trips, some of the people, I'm not gonna say all, some of the people whose flights got canceled, they're not able to come and, see their families or be with their families after such a long time. So those are the people that's affected with that. And Trump also ordered Homeland Security to terminate all categorical parole programs that are contrary to the U.S. policies established in my executive orders, including those for refugees fleeing Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. So, yes, what people have deemed the Biden program, this is a program that's actually been around since President Harry Truman, and it first started when he allowed, I believe, 30,000 Sudanese into the country during one of the civil wars. So basically, this is not a Biden program. This program has been around for years. Now, what makes it, what people call it a Biden program is that Biden added those 4 countries recently. And with him adding those 4 countries, You know, people thought that, okay, this is a program that Biden started. No, this is a program that's already been around. So yes, the people that have come in that program, it it seems like that they may be affected by what's going on with Trump. So basically, if you have not filed for TPS or filed for asylum, or have, you know, fell in love and gotten married, you are at risk to actually go ahead and possibly, at this point in time, it's still unsure. I don't want to go ahead and spread any type of false news. There's a possibility that your stay here may be affected. So, you know, I just want to go ahead and keep that up. And this is, you know, I'm getting from the websites, from, you know, what's actually been put out. So I'm not going based off of what I see on TikTok or what I see on Twitter. Like, no, I'm not. I'm going based off of, you know, facts, you know, things that have been, you know, actually announced by him, signed by him. So let me see. Trump reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy, ending the program that released asylum seekers into the U.S. while their cases was considered. So the U.S. Customs and Border Protection website said Monday that appointments made through the CPB1 app at certain border crossings have been canceled hours later. Trump went ahead and nixed that program. So the people that were waiting had appointments as far as that goes, trying to seek asylum. Right now, everything's on hold with that at the Mexican border. So it's like during Trump's inauguration, that app went dark. Like, he already had this set up. He knew what he was gonna go ahead and do. He was just counting the days, hours, minutes for, you know, him to go ahead and get into office. So that's with that. One of the biggest ones that people are, like, you know, questioning is the Trump birthright citizen executive order. Which is one of his boldest moves, honestly, was an attempt to end birthright citizenship for those born to undocumented immigrants. Birthright citizenship is protected by the U.S. Constitution, the 14th Amendment to be exact, and the order already faces legal challenges. Trump ordered agencies starting 30 days after the order not to recognize babies as citizens if their mothers were unlawfully present at the time of birth and their father was not a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. That also applies to children born to mothers who were lawful temporary residents and fathers who were not citizens or lawful permanent residents. I am the child of migrants. I'm Haitian. I'm from Haiti. My parents, they came here. Me and my sister were born and stuff like that. They became citizens probably like, my mom became a citizen in 1996, and my dad, I believe, became a citizen in, I believe, 99. So basically, if we're being technical, this would probably affect them, supposedly, or affect anyone that had kids that did it, that wasn't like a lawful, you know, resident, resident or like citizen. Like, that's something that a lot of people, they risk themselves, they risk their lives to make sure that their children has a great start by going ahead and doing that. And the thing about it is that with that being the 14th Amendment, I would tell people don't necessarily get worried about that, because he would basically have to dissolve the 14th Amendment for this to go ahead and work. Check out to see what the 14th Amendment is. It affects a lot of things, a lot of people. It even affects, like, as far as like slavery and all that type of stuff. Like, it's real detailed. So as far as that one goes, that's why people call it bold. It's already being challenged because it's you can't undo the amendment. Like, you really can't do so. So that's just that. So basically, those are like the main things when it comes to, like, as far as like his immigration orders, the executive orders when it comes to immigration. Now, people are like, you know, where do we stand? Like, what do we do? I'm scared. I don't know what to say. Like, the best thing to do is, first off, don't listen to what you see on TikTok. Don't listen to what people are posting. Don't listen to like the things that people are trying to really like fear monger you, like make you seem like, okay, you can't work, you can't this. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's uncertain. Yes, you're worried about your relatives. I have relatives that came to that program, and I don't even have a direct answer for them. So right now, the best thing that you can do is literally just pray. Pray for the government. Pray for Trump. Pray for your leaders, because right now we're in a time where it's like you're either red or blue, and it shouldn't be that way. Like, because I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I'm actually a registered independent, because there's things on both sides which I agree with and don't agree with. And I feel like that if they took the best of both sides and put it together, then a lot of the issues and problems that we have would not exist. And a lot of people, they take things so personally, they ruin their friendships, relationships over politics for what? Because at the end of the day, and I'm being very honest, a lot of them that you see bickering across, trust me, they're behind closed doors. And you guys even see a little snippet of it during those events, because people that you thought hated each other, they be parlaying, they be talking. So clock that. So don't like don't ruin yourself. Don't get depressed. Don't go ahead and just put your all. Like, I know these are policies and things that affect, but you can't allow it to go ahead and take over your life. You can't allow it to go ahead and take over your work. You can't allow it to go ahead and affect your work. You can't allow it to affect your family, put division in your family, division in your relationships, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. Because with everything that's going on, that everyone's looking at like, oh my God, what is this? You know, it's more than obvious that times are changing. You know, God is coming. There are signs. The signs are everywhere. Like, now is the time to get right. Now is the time to go ahead and make sure that you have an established future. Now is the time to go ahead and really like buckle down and be focused and stuff like that. Like, I'm not here to preach to anybody. Like, I'm not saying to focus down, like go to church. I'm not saying just that. Like, I would love for you to like, you know, go to church, you know, put your faith in God and stuff, but also just focus on yourself and your family, whichever form that may take. Focus on making sure that you better yourself. Focus yourself on making sure that you're prepared for the future, because there are going to be a lot of changes. Like, there's other different things. Like, he wants to eliminate income tax and basically raise tariffs. Like, okay, good, raise the tariffs. You know, some people, they depend on that income tax yearly. People are like, okay, well, your checks are going to be bigger. Okay, even though your checks are bigger, some people, they don't really have the discipline to go ahead and be like, okay, so this was supposed to be income tax, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in a separate account. No, something is gonna come along, something's gonna think. So some people, they really depend on that. So it's a lot of different things that are basically affecting people, that a lot of different, like it would take me like a whole hour to go through every single executive order. And mind you, now today makes a week since this man been in office, and like I told people, Trump did not come to play. Trump did not come to play. So he's one of those presidents. He's a businessman. At the end of the day, he's not a politician. Politicians, they're pleasers. Businessmen, they're doers. There's a difference. So basically, we have an extreme doer in what people is supposed to consider a people pleaser position. So, hey, I may not agree with all his things. I may not agree with him, you know, totally like him as a person. That's not what I'm here for. But being that he is the leader of the country I live in, and as God says, you have to pray for your leaders, even if you don't agree with them. So there's a couple of Bible verses that I actually want to go ahead and leave you all with, so that, you know, if you're unsure as far as like how to handle, how to pray, or you probably like feel a little bit weak or feel a little bit unsure as far as what to do. So let me just go ahead and take a look, see here. So there's 1 Timothy 21 verses 1 through 2. First of all, then I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. Also, there's Proverbs 21 verse 1. The king's heart is a stream of water in the hand of the Lord. He turns it wherever he will. There's also Matthew 22 verse 21. They said, Caesar's. Then he said to them, therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God. So basically what God is trying to say is that don't make anyone else your God. Like, some people, they look at the leaders, they look at political leaders, political candidates, the president, even like their pastors and stuff like that as God. No, God is God. This person is your leader. You respect them, you pray for them, but you don't put them above God. You don't see them as God. You don't see their word as Bible. Like, you know, you pray for them. Even though if you may not agree for them, you pray that God go ahead and give them the strength and the knowledge like he gave Solomon to go ahead and lead a country. So that's what you go ahead and do. And I feel like that's a mistake that a lot of people make. Like, they take someone, they follow them, and they idolize them. These are just men. They bleed like we do. They work like we do. They stress like we do. They sin like we do. Don't make these your idols. Don't make these your gods, because that's not what it's intended for. But you do pray for them, you do respect them, and you do hope that they do what they're supposed to do. And also, I have a couple of verses for people that are afraid as far as like what to do in this whole immigration thing. So there's, you know, Proverbs 16 verse 3, commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. Another one is Jeremiah 29 verse 11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and hope. There's also James 4 verses 13 through 15. Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow, we will go into such and such a town and spend a year there, and trade and make a profit, yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. So at this time, you just gotta leave it in God's hands. You just gotta pray. You can take any of those verses and help put them into your daily ritual. If this is something that bothers you or is causing you discomfort and stuff like that, just ask God to guide you. Just ask God to go ahead and be there for you. And that's all I could say for now. So I thank you so much for taking the time, for liking my channel, for subscribing, for listening, and just watching. Comment, start a conversation. If you have any questions and stuff like that, I will have no problem going ahead and answering them. Share, let people see this. So I look forward to go ahead and talking to you guys. Bye.